Welcome to the AOS Sigmar Stats Centre. That's right, I'm one of your hosts, Rob, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Owen Jackson. Owen, how you doing?
I'm great. Yeah, tired as usual, Monday morning. But yeah, we were just saying, nice to do this again. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it, since we?
It has been a hot minute. It has been a hot minute, which is fine. I'm excited to be back here, to be honest. Doing the stats. Now, if you guys have, this is the first time for some reason you've tuned into the Stats Centre, what we do is we do have stats to back up our opinions. You'll have seen those on YouTube videos and podcasts previously. Because of the time it takes to put the stats in from a weekend and into the stats, normally we'll do that we do the actual stats data on another show. But what me and Owen normally do is we go through all of the event results across the weekend. We have a kind of chat about it and talk about what we think about the game, the state of the meta. I guess it really should be like the state of the meta, but we can't really do that, Owen, because then people think we're talking about Zuckerberg, and we don't want people thinking we're talking about the Zuck.
Yeah.
But I'll just say meta a couple more times because hopefully I'll kick in algorithms later on down the line. Yeah.
Meta.
We're, of course, if you haven't joined us before, we're joined by the Twitch chat, our live studio audience. Oh, that's how I see them. I literally can see them sat in chairs in front of me in my mind. People like Cinderfall Gaming and MJ Pixies, both of them just resubscribed, and Boise and Hams Fan. Big shout out to you, Nogel Matthew, Craig Bear, Warhammer Rob, our stats man himself, along with Ziggy. Shout out to him. That's right, the Twitch chat rules, they're now known the Candle Crew. So we're going to go through a bunch of stuff, but before we do that, Owen, how are you? Are you well?
Yes, I tend to do a marks out of 10. I'm probably a 7.7 this morning. So yeah, good. On the whole, been all right. Not much time for hobbying, but been grinding my 6 weeks. I'm 4 tournaments into my 6 tournaments in 6 weekends. European tour. And
wow.
That's what I'm calling it. Yeah.
Wow, 4 in 6. So you got 2 more to go.
2 to go, yeah. AOS Six Nations this weekend, and then Bobo to round it off. So yeah, feeling quite in tune with the game at the moment.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm recently single Warhammer addict. What else am I going to do with my time, right?
I know. Do you know what I really respect is you haven't taken up aggressively painting a lot. That's the wrong way to take it, I think. Some guys are like, oh, I've become single, so I've decided to steal it and paint. I'm like, it's not going to help you. Stewing on it isn't going to help. Get out there, see a loads of men butt cracks, get involved in the event scene.
Basically what I've been doing. But yeah, I'm good. And how are you? Does your road to recovery continue? Are you feeling more fortified and energized?
My first week back. We haven't done the Stats Centre show for a couple of weeks. Apologies to everyone because I have been poorly. But yeah, feeling really good now. And obviously we've got Six Nations this weekend, which you and Dan are running. Me, Mumford, and the crew are going to be doing live coverage of. So that's really exciting. I've done like a kind of list review already. And I'm editing like a smaller, more condensed. I did like a long chat list review with Adam. It wasn't really safe for YouTube, so we put that on Patreon, and then I'm going to do a more condensed, probably like more adult version later today, which is quite exciting. Like some sort of and interesting to see the national teams and how they put their lists together, and also some of the similarities. Kind of maybe a cornerstone of one of the points maybe you want to make later, or maybe a point we just talked about off air. That yes, there's a lot of like list diversity, especially in 8-man teams. Or generally in the meta singles events at the moment, but those lists that you see, you probably know what's in the list before. Like someone's like, I'm playing Tzeentch, probably know what's going to happen. Someone's playing Lumineth, you probably like, which 2 of those are you playing? So like the diversity maybe is not quite as broad. But having done the Stats Centre and looked at the competitive scene for more than 4 years, I think it's the widest it's been personally. Like, like the widest, as in there's the most factions who've got the most play that we've ever seen, which is really quite exciting. With some of them, just like no chance, but that's a different kettle. But I'm good. That was a long answer, a long way to answer that. Din in the chat says, right, haven't done AOS Stats Centre for 2 weeks. Just want to go 4-1 with Khorne. Coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. It will still go into the stats. Don't you worry. It's not my fault. Well, it's my fault for being sick. I apologise, everyone. Anyway. All right, Owen, do you want to start our world tour? Do you want to start with the event you were at the weekend?
Yeah, why not? Why
Okay.
not? I think that what you were saying about faction diversity is borne out in the top 10 from the event I was at. So I was at the Justice Series GT. So this one's been in the calendar for a while. It was a rollover from, God, when was it supposed to be on? Before the plague, whenever that was.
2019.
Jesus. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
But 60 players. This wasn't one at the Just Play shop. This was actually the one they host it at the hotel, so like opposite the train station, really easy.
Really nice venue. I've been there before.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, you did the streaming there, didn't you? So air conditioning, a nice bar there. I'm not going to do the full. There were no hand dryers, Rob.
Paper
But there
towels.
was. Yeah, but it was a machine where you wave your hand and then the towel comes out auto.
Wow,
So very
the connoisseur's choice.
Indeed,
That
yes.
is,
Yeah.
that is the height of Warhammer, in my opinion.
Indeed. Automated touchless paper. I was like, wow. I can see where my ticket price has gone. Jesus. No, I'm joking. It was great. Really convenient. I mean, I was able to get the train from London on Saturday morning and still just about make the first round. So really good venue. Usual suspects. Obviously, with Six Nations this weekend, there were a lot of players there from teams putting in the final sort of bits of practice with their lists. So lots of members of the Northern Irish team, English team, and then I obviously went up with some of the Wales boys. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was good field, competitive. You know what it's like at these tournaments now, right? There's not much room for sort of your fun, fluffy lists. There's lots of top tier stuff. But yeah, good 5 rounds, good tables, good terrain. Richie and Ian do a great job. You know those guys. So yeah, it was cool. Really good event.
Excellent.
In terms of the 4-0s and there were 2 5-0s. Let me just get my notes. Sorry, Rob.
Don't you worry about it at all. I completely understand. If you guys don't know, we do this on a Monday, so obviously all the event results have just come in, and sometimes there's a lot of events like there were this weekend, which is why we just kind of do like a quick overview. There's not much room for fun lists, AOS 3rd edition. I don't think that's necessarily true. I'm gonna, while Owen quickly looks this up, I'm just gonna say that like the fact that some books have been solved, and what I mean by that is you probably know the lists that work best because of the internal synergies of the books, the way they work well together. The points values that they're currently at, if all the points get changed, then that'll all change as well. Doesn't mean that it's not fun. Like, if anything, like it's better. It's definitely better than one faction with a 65+ win rate or a couple with a 65% win rate. Most of the factions, the highest we've got is 61% with Lumineth at the highest win rate. Now, I know some of you think that's a conspiracy theory that me and the stats crew for some reason have put together. I don't know why. That's a conspiracy theory that's happened now, Owen. I don't know if you've heard about this conspiracy theory, but it's one that exists.
I don't think I operate in those subreddit chats or something. But yeah, I have heard some. I've heard some whispers on the net that you're definitely you're like the Illuminati of.
Anyway, my point is while 60% isn't good, 55 to 60% is stuff that we think needs addressing. Similarly, anything underneath beneath 45% needs some help. Like as in a boost to get more in the middle. Ultimately, it's probably one of the healthiest states I've seen the game in at all. And anyone who thinks 2 was better is an idiot and doesn't really understand what was happening on TTS. Like, all of Age of Sigmar was happening during lockdown, the end of 2, and it was horrible. So it's much better now, in my opinion.
I mean, whoever was sort of present at the time, as you say, the TTS, who can ever forget the Hammer Time event where it was literally just Tzeentch Archaon versus Tzeentch Archaon on all the top tables. And like, you're right, you don't get that. In the top 10 finishes, there was only 1 duplicate faction. So there were 2 Seraphon players. But other than that, we had Disciples of Tzeentch, Soulblight, Lumineth, Sons of Behemat, Ironjaws, Slaves to Darkness, Maggotkin of Nurgle, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. So that's healthy, right? I think some people have been put off the game. I mean, a lot of people playing Marvel Crisis Protocol and stuff at the moment, but I think it's. We all had a great time, right? And it is a hobby after all. So there were smiling people, and that was good. But yeah, if we're going to talk more about like the state of the game, I think we're in an okay place. You just need to know. You need to go into the game with your eyes wide open now, don't you, Rob? You know that you could be blown off the table by turn 2 because there's a lot of high power armies out there.
Yeah, there's a couple of existing lists that definitely, like I'm sure you're going to mention Sentinels in Stormcast are going to be everywhere. They're so easy to pick up. It's two boxes for 500 points. Like, it's all of the attractive things for Age of Sigmar players, or in fact competitive players. It's 2 boxes of miniatures, fairly cheap. 6 models to paint, even better. It's a quarter of an army. Hello, yeah, and it'll kill Archeon in a turn. Excellent. Yeah. So I mean, like, sell me something better. I don't know. Like, there's just a guy in a Warhammer shop banging, like tapping the top of a box of long strikes. Like, you can kill so many bad boys with this. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just you walk into the local friendly gaming store and like, yeah, I'm interested in playing. I'm interested in maybe some long range shooting. You just like turn to the point of sale display and it's just long strikes for days. Like, this is what you want, son. Old faithful. There's some. Anyway, I'm gonna not ramble too much. Let's get into the detail. People want the detail. They don't want me bollocking on too much. So, 5-0s, 2 of them, Rob. 2 of the international team members. So Simon Weekly, my fellow Welsh teammate, who obviously did well at Bobo and has been knocking on the door with his 4-1s. He did get the big 5-0 with his host duplicitous pink horror spam. So 60 pinks, a Lord of Change, and a Change Caster, and a Bridge, and a Cogs. I mean, it was the big bad in the room all weekend. Nobody wanted to play that. So yeah, he got 5 big wins there. Went into a mixture of stuff. Off the top of my head, I know that he played Iron Jaws, he played Tzeentch Archeon, he played me and my OBR Nagash. So he went up against a lot of the big threats and was able to. It's just so hard to get tactics against that list. So yeah, he won the tournament.
Because you played him in the final round potentially to try and take out the event, right?
I played him round 4.
Oh, okay, round 4.
Table 1, round 4. Yeah.
So explain to me that sentence, because that's really interesting. Because if people are unaware, we're talking about 30 pink horrors, 10 pink horrors in Tzeentch. There's varieties. I'm kind of surprised we don't see Kairos with it, but you generally tend to see it. Well, Simon's version has a lot of change and a change caster. There's another version. Actually, Six Nations, there are 4 Tzeentch lists, and all of them are horror spam. Every single one of them. There's 220 horrors between 4 players at Six Nations. So, that's really interesting. So, what do you mean by it's hard to get tactics against it? Like, that's the bit I'm interested in.
I mean, shall I talk to you about the first couple of turns of our game?
Yeah, please. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'm really interested.
We played Survival of the Fittest. So 3 objectives diagonally. I had 20 more tech, 10 more tech, 10 more tech, and my 2 characters in Nagash and Arcan. He's a 1-drop, so he more often than not he's going to go first or have a roll off to go first. And effectively, with the combination of the Destiny dice and all the bodies, he can guarantee he's always going to dominate the primary. So he's always going to be able to be holding 1, holding 2, holding more with the sheer amount of bodies and the way
board space. 30 horrors is a big brick.
Oh yeah. And so he'll often be taking first turn, bridging over, tagging in everything that he can, hopefully off the objectives, much like we saw in the Bobo coverage. If anyone caught that against Math Mallow, he just tagged in his whole army off the objectives. So basically, he'll dominate the primary, which means that you're then having to really hustle to get good battle tactics. Because if you're, say, for example, only holding 1, you need to be getting ranks with a monster, spearhead with 2 monsters. You know what? You're already on the back foot because aggressive expansion, which is objective based, is off the table. Conquer is probably off the table because you're going to never take it off 10 to 20 pinks. What else is off the table? Aggressive expansion, Conquer. There's a couple of objective.
I mean, even broken ranks, even killing a battle line is like, is a challenge.
And then it forces you into a position of taking those gambling battle tactics. So I had to take Slay the Warlord turn 1 against him because there was no way that I was going to take anything else. And you can't even get Ferocious Advance often because he's tagged you in. And if he's tagged in enough units, now that you can't run when you retreat, you can't ferociously advance away. So
and
you
you
look
can't
down
even retreat because it's host duplicitous. Some people
Yeah.
might not be aware. The subfaction means that you can't retreat from units once you're in combat. So you can't even retreat to do anything.
No. So you're immediately on the back foot. And they were immediately the beat down on you. So, I mean, I got quite lucky. Well, I got lucky and unlucky in that I had to go Warlord. Failed it first turn because he had like +3 to save. And he passed Hand of Dust. But even the way it went, I was able to double him and bring it down and get 7 points. So I was able to... He dominated. I held 1. I failed my tactic turn 1, doubled him, killed the Lord of Change. In the next turn, I killed the Change Caster. So even with no heroes, the ability of the Pink Horror War Scroll that they don't take Battle Shock until they're down to brims, it's insane. And he says it's a trap to try and go after the big blob of 30, because at that point, they're breaking and you're just creating more and more combat attacks. So he wants you to get down to the brims because then they're getting 2 attacks each in combat rather than 1.
3 for brims.
And he's at 1960, so he's got a good triumph bid. And then with damned terrain being everywhere, often he's taking damned and getting them down to like whatever that is. I think 3s and 4s or 4s and 4s. I don't know. So it's actually got a lot of efficiency and a lot of shooting and a lot of combat. And it just grinds you out, and you end up having to go for gambles. Those gambles fail, and the whole time the pinks are just dominating the primary. So it's a proper shutdown. And I think Phil might be in the chat. He played him round 5, and he played a really good game, but ultimately came unstuck. It's a real challenge, and nobody wanted to play it on the top tables. And yeah. I'm not sure because you know that War Scroll well, right? And
I mean, I was running this list like week 1 of AOS 3.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and and I said, people, and I was playing the worst version of it back then, not with generating more pinks than anything. And you and me played the game literally week 1 of Age of Sigmar, maybe the first week of Age of Sigmar 3. It's a dominant War Scroll, and it's a dominant tactic. You know, like it's a swamp list. It bogs you down, and there's really not a lot you can do about it. I did say, I don't know if you remember, I did say at that event, I was like, there's the version of this where I can make it so you can't retreat, but that's so much worse to play against. I'm never taking it to a tournament. Thanks, OG Marshy, for subscribing, and also congratulations on going forward this weekend. Anyway, interesting. So that's Simon Weekly, and I expect to see that more, right? Because Pink Horrors were always something that we saw competitive play, especially towards the end of 1st edition, but even over the course of 2nd edition. Change Host, which was a War Scroll battalion previously, was something we saw a lot. There are a lot of pink, blues, and brim horrors out there. Like, they've always been the dominant part of the Tzeentch book. So, and I mean, even in like Slaves to Darkness, not Slaves to Darkness, sorry, Legion of the First Prince and other stuff, there are pink horrors abound, is my point. And I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see this be a trend that catches on, because it feels like, as much as I know Simon's a fantastic gamer and just a really razor-smart mind to discuss Warhammer with, it feels like a lot of people could pick that up, put that down, and do pretty good with it.
Well, you say that, Rob, but there was a guy there with 50, and I think he maybe went 2-3 over the weekend. But you're right, there isn't a huge amount with the with like Destiny dice and maybe auto casting bridge on a 2-up with your scribes. If you take that version of it, you can definitely go. Yeah, you can definitely get a 3-2 or something. It still needs play to. It still needs, as you say, a sharp mind to take it to 5-0, because if you misplay with it, there is quite a lot of high damage out there. But yeah, it's definitely oppressive. I just can't believe all the little layers. Like, there was a lot of talk in the room, Rob, over the weekend about how you fix that, because that isn't a fun game of Warhammer in any way, shape, or form. I don't think at the top end you should necessarily be concerning yourself with how fun it is for your opponent, but it's a pretty anti-game. But yeah, well, how do you fix? I don't think they can have another go at the scroll, can they? Can they just point them a bit higher?
Yeah, you could just point them a bit higher. Like, it's 100, like that 30. I mean, 10 pink horrors is 50 wounds. I don't mind that being like in the 240, 250 category. Seems very, very fine. Like,
yeah,
it really does. Like, the biggest problem with the loss of flamers as well, the biggest problem for the Tzeentch book as is ignoring the fact that you can put Tzeentch Archaon in there, is actually that it's not a particularly wide book. It's not Seraphon or Lumineth, where you can pick up quite a lot of the minis. Ballistas, Star Shard Ballistas are not bad. They're just not Sentinels, right? But you put them in another book, you'd be like, hello, like I'll take these. The problem with the Tzeentch book itself is it's not particularly wide. The Zangor parts are trash, pretty much. Like all the Mortals parts are fairly trash as well. So like if you hit it too hard, maybe you don't see it, but maybe people are sick of seeing it, and that seems fine. But I think points will do cool. I think you could go 240, 250. I think 250 seems fine. What, they're 215? 250 seems fine. And then I think you'll add something like, you'll add enough points on to that list, truthfully. But then it's quite interesting, the conversation. We talked about this at Bobo a few weeks ago when we did the coverage, and I've been saying it ever since. This is just Gargants backwards. Like, this is just they do what Gargants do. Yeah, there's a lot of them doing something, and they just probably do what Gargants do better, maybe. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's even less interactive than Gargants, but it's the same situation, basically. They dominate the primary, and it's very difficult to get rid of them, is their style. And it's a great list. It's really good. Like, big fan of the list, personally. It really because there isn't the counterplay. This probably I don't want to bang on too much. We'll talk about all the results, but there isn't the counterplay in Age of Sigmar that we really would like to see, in my opinion. So we do have now with like things like the long strikes, which we'll talk about. You do have, and why we see, in my opinion, the domination of the Sentinels is because when you do have those save stacking hero monsters, whatever they might be, you do look for a ton of mortal wound output at range. Right? Because you can't get involved with them in a fight because you basically have to be a better fighter than them. And good luck being a better fighter than Nagash or Archaon or, like any of those things. So, like, good luck being a better fighter. So you're not. So then you think, well, I won't fight them and I'll shoot them. Or you flood the board with crap. Yeah, and the Pink Horrors are the best version of flooding the board with rubbish. Demonic, hilarious rubbish, but still rubbish. Sorry, I just had to do that. But my point is it would be nice to see some other War Scrolls out there that do a similar-ish job, not as obnoxious and not as horrible, maybe, but something that does a similar job, so that when God monsters are just like swarmed in dudes. Like Archaon averages like something like 30 damage a turn, right? So he's going to take out like some pretty prodigious units in just one round of combat. But will those units kill Archaon back? The answer is probably no. So like, do you know what I mean? There needs to be something that like creates a balancing level for those god monsters, or it's just god monsters smashing against each other. Whatever. So I don't mind the points going up on horrors, but I would like to see other units like Skaven Slaves. I'd like to see Skaven Slaves be like immune to battle shock and just have bricks of 60 of them, and then just see god monsters just trapped basically by trash. Because I think A, that's funny, and B, it would be pretty good for the game. You'd see more hordes, which means then you'd be like, oh, how do I clear the hordes, right? Because long strikes are great, but long strikes are terrible into 60 grots or 60 Skaven Slaves.
Do you know what's good into all of this, Rob?
Tell me.
Fucking Seraphon. They're fine, man. They got Stellar Tempest. They got Bastillodons. They got Salamanders. They're flying under the radar the whole time, and they're still busted as all get out. But yeah. Anyway, to round out the Pinks conversation, Rob, what blew my mind is the thing about the icons now. Like, not only are they insane DPS check, they're like generating fate points every turn just for being there, right? Is it every 10 can have an icon, and on a 3-up you get a fate point? Yeah. So for example, turn 1, if you've got 60 pinks, you've got 6 dice, you're going to get 4 free fate points. So you're a fifth of the way towards another unit of 10 pinks already. Just the layering of the rules is mad. But I think also in that conversation, Rob, I think you might have hit on the 3 archetypes that we've got in terms of lists at the moment. We've got Hero Hammer, we've got Swamp Hammer, and then we've got Scalpels, Sentinels, Long Strikes, these kind of like elite pick out that hero damage. I think that's where that is the meta at the moment. But anyway, so then the 4-1, sorry, the other 5-0 is coming off the back. I think he went second at one of the Carnage events. So this is James Tinsdale, the only other 5-0, and that's with the Soulblight, Kastelai, Nagash, the Blood Knights list, doing some real work.
It's surprising to not see James in the English team. I thought he was in the English team, him and Richard.
I think that they're going to be in the ETC team, so they've got a wide pool of players. So I think he's going to be ETC.
Okay.
But yeah, very much part of the England setup. He played on the table next to me round 5 into Seraphon. I think he played Seraphon rounds 4 and 5. To be fair, yeah, did great with that. I mean, we've talked about that list quite a bit, right? Nagash and the Vengorian Lord. I don't know. It's not Vengorian Lord. It's the White King to make all the Blood Knights.
King, and then it's just Blood Knights. Yeah. Feels fairly cookie cutter at this stage for the Soulblight Grave Lord version. There's this and then the more dynamic, in my opinion, Freycross build. But it's pretty obnoxious, right? It's a lot of 3-up either or 2-up saves, rerolling 1s, and some pretty nasty output at the right point.
Yeah. The commandability from Nagash does real work in that list, much like is in my list. And then the 4-1s, Rob. This is a bit of a who's who, and a lot of players who are going to be there at the weekend. So JP Stevens with Zytrek Lumineth, so triple Foxes, so Severith and the 2 Foxes, and then 30 Sentinels. Stephen Mitchell, I think it's AOS Stephen from the Northern Irish team. He was taking a lot of names this weekend with 4 Salamanders, 2 Bastillodons inside Thunder Lizard. That's a nails list. That is a great list. Steve Curtis from the England team with Breaker Tribe Sons. So he's moved on to what I think is Fabian's list at this stage. Double Breaker, Double Stomper. The output one.
Sure. That's someone's list. Someone was the genius to add 2 and 2. Yeah, all right, okay.
Shut up. And then Laurie, another 4-1, Laurie Huggett Wild with Bloodtooths, so 2 Crushers, 12 Pigs, double War Chanter, kind of very much like go in and kill. I think, he lost actually to an insane list. That mad lad who brings like 15 Scourge Runner Chariots?
Yeah, of course.
He beat Laurie with the triple Hurricanum, Luminarch, and loads of guys on. Yeah, the guys on the horseback with the pistols.
Yeah, the Outriders.
Yeah, mad. And then Phil Marshall. Now, this was Phil who was on table 1, game 5. I think it's his first ever 4-1. So I had a nice chat with Phil, lovely guy. So props to him.
He's in the chat. Big shout out, OG Marshy. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done, mate. You had a great weekend. So that was 6 Circle, Archeon, Marcus Inch. So yeah, cracking list. And then another Seraphon list. This is more mixed. So Paul Bowden, Seraphon Thunder Lizards, 2 Sallies, a Bastillodon and a Prime, and he had some camo skinks. It was kind of a bit more mixed than the very sort of min-maxed Stevens list.
I would say that this is the other version of the list. I think there's either max as many max sallies as you can in Draco's Tail, or I actually think that this is a better list. Not to rag on Stephen at all, but I actually think putting the Prime in is actually massively really beneficial to that Seraphon list. So just for you guys not to know, the Prime is a combat character, but is actually a 24-inch mortal wound shooting bunker. Actually. In my opinion, then double that up with Comet's Call and also the Realm Shaper Engine's ability to do AoE mortal wounds from a piece of terrain. You actually have the ability to take out quite a concentrated area of damage before you engage with things like the Basti and the Salamanders and stuff. And I actually think you're going to see more and more primes. I think this version of the list you'll see more and more, personally.
Yeah, no, I would agree. There's a lot. Even just dropping down the camos and plinking on those last few wounds while everything else has blown stuff up. Also, Prime in Draco Tail is a thing as well, isn't it? In the other sort of Seraphon build. Then AD Mac, I think it was Andy Hughes' army. He took out the Nurgle with triple Great and Clean One and a Glockkin, and got 4-1 with that. So great list. And then little old me got another 4-1. I lost against the Horrors. But yeah, I got 4-1.
How many 4-1s have you got this year so far? A lot.
I think
That's
I've
not
got
a dig. That's a
No,
well
no.
done. That's well done.
I got five.
5-4-1s.
With OBI. Nagash is ridiculous. Yeah. So, do you want to know the most ridiculous thing that happened this weekend?
Tell me.
I'm not going to do like only Nathan does pure battle reports on this channel, so I'm just going to give you a little highlight. So, I played Ironjaws, Stormcast. I played Horror Spam, and then I played Piotr in the last round with his triple foxes. Yeah. So, managed to get some good wins. But Mike Wilson, lovely gentleman. I met him 2 years ago at this event when I didn't know anybody, and we've never played, and my dice went fucking insane, right? So so he's playing Archeon, 6 circle. We're on the Vice, so we're like Mexican standoff. But I've got 33-inch Hand of Dust. So turn 1, Hand of Dust into Archeon.
Yeah.
He fails the 4-up spell ignore, but he guesses the right hand. Sweet. We then look at each other for another turn, and then I get a turn. Okay, here we go. Hand of Dust, Archeon. Yep, got him off the table. Then Arcan, Curse of Years, passed the 5-up on a unit of Varangard. I one-shotted a unit of Varangard with Arcan's Curse of Years.
Wow.
Get off the table. Then he gets a turn. Then I get another turn. Hand of Dust off the Demon Prince. Curse of Years. And I one-shot another unit of Varangard with Curse of Years. He was just like, what are these dice? And I was like, Welsh dice. It was the most insane dice ever. So after my turn 3, he had, what did he have left? I think everything was dead. Sorry, everything was dead. Yeah.
Wow.
It was one of the most insane 1-2 punches I've ever done. Like, I think I rolled 666 and then 555. And it was just a thing, and like people on the neighboring tables were like, what is going on your table, because it was just blowing up. Anyway, so thanks Mike, he took it really well, and that gave me one of the most, that's the most insane that my list has ever done. It just everything just disappeared in a hail of
magical dominance.
Of magical dominance. Yeah, exactly. All of my Mortec just stood there going, all right, boss, you just go and win the game for us. They did nothing all game. They got attacked by a Demon Prince. Anyway, so we
got a question in the chat. Do you actually do the Hand of Dust, or do you just 4-up it?
Do the Hand of Dust, man. Yeah.
Do the Hand of Dust. All right, excellent. Big fan.
You got to have like the drama, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's fun, and I celebrate when my opponent gets it, and I celebrate when I get it. It's just fun, right?
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, big fan.
Do you want? Okay, very quickly then. Do you want the Hand of Dust tally for the weekend?
Yeah, sure. So, I do.
I got Celestant Prime.
Yeah.
Bastion Carthalos before he got to do anything in the whole game.
Fucking yes.
Archeon, Demon Prince, and a Fox.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah.
Okay, good. A Fox is always nice.
Yeah, Fox is always nice. Yeah, little buggers.
There's another question in the chat, because obviously you're running Arcane and you're running Nagash together, so there's a lot of arcane bolts. Is it true that you said you can't dodge an arcane bolt?
Was that JP?
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, basically, I was into a unit of Sentinels against Peter, and he had Goading Arrogance, Goading Arrogance on the Lord Regent. So I was like, and I'd chosen Broken Ranks, and I think he thought, oh god, he's fucked up here because he's forgotten that he can't attack the 17 Sentinels with Nagash, and I just charged up on my bolts and said, can't Goading Arrogance and Arcane Bolt, can you? It was very funny. It was very funny, and Peter took it really well. So yeah, it was fun. Anyway, that was me, and then finally Michael Bennett, the Stormcast list that we've talked about. So this was Hammers of Sigmar. I was his only loss. He went 4-1 as well. Had a great weekend. Such a small army, very similar to Matt Goldsborough's. But he had, do you know the Bastion trick, Rob? So rather than using translocate, what he does, Bastion at the start of the game can redeploy D3 units.
Yep.
And with the 30-inch range, he just puts the long strike somewhere, you deploy your stuff, and he goes, right, I'll go and kill that then. And just uses Bastion to pick them up, put them. They have to be in your territory, but with 30-inch range, it doesn't really matter. And then he just goes Thunderbolt Volley or whatever it's called. Hero Phase Shoot, Regular Shoot,
that's it.
Dracoth Riders, Andrasta's Spear, the Prime. Yeah, wild. Left Nagash on 2 wounds on turn 1. So I was like, and I think he took a lot of big bads off the table, killing Archeons on the first turn.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be very, very common to see those 6 long strikes. So Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows in many a Stormcast list. Not forgetting the Stormcast book, the new Stormcast book. They haven't had a new book since actually the start of 2nd edition. So 3 years before like that book has got any love, and people are sat on tons of armies. And interestingly, one of the only builds at the very end of Age of Sigmar 2 was the Angelus Conclave long strike Raptor list. So these models are already everywhere all the time, right? So I would expect to see 6 long strike lists dominant, and I'm talking a lot of lists. I wouldn't be surprised if you in a 100-man tournament see like, I don't know, 8 to 10%, like very common. There used to be like 14% of the meta Stormcast. Now, yeah, lots of people have got a lot of different armies. A lot of people armies have got books now, which previously they didn't at that point. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more of these armies on the table.
Yeah, 100%. So there, that was it. That was the Justice GT. I want to very quickly shout out. I met Rob from the stats team, Warhammer Rob. And
what
we had
a
lovely
treasure!
Chat. Absolutely, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that I made reference to that because we had a wicked time. Had a nice chat and shared some Nagash stories, which was fun. So lovely to meet you, Rob.
We'll do some more. There's, by the way, Owen in the chat, Warhammer Anonymous. I got handed dusted by Owen's first round. First round in the War of the Heartlands multiple times. It's his fault. I'm taking Gargants to Bobo.
Oh, damn it! That must be Ben then. Hey Ben, yeah, that was a savage game. Yes, because you can't hand of dust a bloody Gargant somehow. Just these D6 mortal wounds.
So the Girly Man's asked a question. Stonks on long strikes in Living City. So it's the once per battle. So in case you're not aware, now with the new books, you're able to take a command ability, specifically a once per battle command ability, and you get to take it for free. You don't have to pay anything to take it. And there's only one good one really, and it's shoot in the hero phase. So the reason the long strikes are so good is because they're able to shoot in the first hero phase or a hero phase, and then also shoot again in the shooting phase. So effectively, that 500-point unit, you're getting to do 1,000 points of damage with it in one turn, which is pretty huge. So that's why it'll probably see more play inside Stormcast than it will anything else, truthfully. Okay, name in the chat, Warhammer Anon, Owen. Hi, Ben. There we go. So it is. Right, shall I talk about some of the other events from around the world, shall we?
Talk to me. So
there was the AOS GT in Las Vegas. 27 people played. I can put the link in the chat. Now, excitingly, Kurt Roper was the only person who went 5-0 with Daughters of Cain, Hagnar. But Owen, how many Bowsnakes? You're probably looking at the notes, so you know, but
you'd always think at least 10 to 15, right?
Only 5, mainly Witch Elves in his list, which was quite exciting. Mainly Witch Elves, and then also a Cauldron. So Morathi, obviously, but then also a Cauldron as well, and only 5 Bowsnakes. So that's really exciting. The link for the list for you guys is in the chat right now. And obviously, if you're watching this back on YouTube, they'll be in the show notes. If you're listening back as a podcast, stay hydrated, you gorgeous fellas. And it'll be in the show notes as well. Anti-Croup has blown us all away. So this is again at the AOS GT in Las Vegas. In the 4-0 bracket, Anthony Croup with his cabbage in the chat, get excited. Beasts of Chaos, Gav Spawn list went 4-0. He got 4 wins, well, 4 wins and 1 loss, so 4-1. With his, which is pretty impressive. No Aquino with his Stormcast Hallowed Knights list, which I think had 4 Fulminators and 4 Concussors, went 4-1 as well. Ian McClaso with his KO Barrick Urbaz list, and then Ramon Silva with his Living City list, all in the 4-1 bracket. So again, just a fantastic little spread. Don't chat. Don't say it's the USA, so it doesn't count. That's not fair. That's not fair, chat. How dare you say it? Let me say it without saying it. Well done, chat. You've got it. So that, I mean, not the biggest event. 27 people still good. That's nice, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Any group of people playing a game is it's valid, right?
Yeah,
it's valid. And that was 5 rounds. That was 5 rounds. Wow, nice.
5 rounds.
So Yeah, I'd like to maybe see what that Living City list was. I think that Living City's got some real play, especially talking about putting long strikes in not being optimal. Definitely putting fulminators in is optimal.
Yeah, putting fulminators in would be fantastic. The Living City list from Ramon Silva. I'll just tell you about it really quick. Get ready for it, Owen. A steam tank with commander.
Whoa! I'm fucking glad I was sat down for that one. Jesus Christ! I'm holding onto my table. What's coming next?
With a command trait, Iron Oak Artisan, and the Amulet of Destiny, right?
Yes.
Yes. A Battle Mage, a Tree Lord Ancient, and a Branch Wraith. 10 free Guild Guard, 10 more free Guild Guard, and then a Steam Tank. Yeah. In addition, 2 Steam Tanks, right? That's right, the American military complex strikes again. And then, get ready for this, 4 Dracothian Guard fulminators, and then 4 Dracothian Guard concussors. So it really goes to show you that actually, if you spend 1,000 points on Dracothian Guard, you can take, it seems, almost anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, tanks and sort of big dogs sounds like a cool army. The cute thing that people might not catch on that is that obviously the Living City fulminators were always good in Living City, right, Rob? But the fact that you shoot with your breath weapon, so you come on board edge, you shoot with your breath weapon, and then they move 10. You can't redeploy or get away from the 10-inch move because it's in the shooting phase, not the movement phase. So you can just get within 3. And go and gobble up whatever you want to go and eat.
And 4 fulminators on the charge will delete most things. It's 20 attacks that can be 2s and 2s. I don't know if it can be 2s and 2s in Living City, but it's 3s and 3s base, Ren 2, damage 3 on the charge. Phenomenal. And that's not... Go on.
All I was going to say... No, you finish your point. And
that's not including the Kit Kat attacks, which are also damage 2. So...
Solid as hell, right?
It's really good, yeah.
I was going to say that he's doing the Living City trick that a lot of Sylvaneth players saw at the start of when the book first came out, and it's a bit like, nah, it's far too much, because it's almost like a 350, maybe more, maybe like a 400-point combo, because he's gone Tree Lord Ancient and Branch Wraith. So what he's doing is he's going to go in and like shock and awe with some concussors, shoot some stuff with some steam tanks, and then he's going to use the Tree Lord Ancient to pop out of woods, and then he's got a Branch Wraith to try and summon Dryads into it. So, I mean, it's not reliable.
What's he doing with the other steam tank, Owen? Talk to me. What's he doing with the other steam tank?
I haven't got a fucking clue. He's gonna tag something in with it, isn't he? He's gonna come in at the board edge and shoot, and then he's gonna charge, and it's gonna do DP more wins. And then he's gonna all out defensive. It's gonna be on a 2-up save. I love the champ dude is on it with Iron Oak Artisan. He's on a 2-up save and a 5-up ward. That tank's got some thick armor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Boy.
Maximum speed like 8 miles an hour. It takes a while to get to you, but once it does, it's not going anywhere.
Amazing. I got to tell you, I want to go play Warhammer in Las Vegas because it sounds great. Because also the Beast of Chaos list by Anthony Crew, big shout out to him, is running, just let you know, Gav Spawn, a Doom Ball, 2 Great Shamans, a Beast Lord, One-Eyed Grunnock. So the best Beast of Chaos unit is always One-Eyed Grunnock. 6 Bulgor, 20 Ungor, 10 Bestigor, 10 Ungor, 10 Ungor, 10 Gors, 1 Spawn. Spawn's really important in Gav Spawn. And then a Chimera, correct. Read them if you ain't got nothing to do. A Chimera in that list went 4-1, which is fantastic work, truth be told. So well done. So that Las Vegas, I tell you what, I want to go play Warhammer there, Owen. Let's go there. I reckon you and me should go do an NA World Tour. Just spend like 6 weeks playing Warhammer in NA. Yeah. It sounds easy. I shouldn't have said it. But I said it anyway.
You did so well, and then you fucked it right at the end there.
I know, I'm such a dick. Anyway, over in Cacace, Glendale, AZ, US, there was a 14-player event called the Occotillo Onslaught. No one went 5-0, but in the 4-1 bracket, Cameron Halford with a Soulblight Gravelords Vrykross list, my preferred Soulblight Gravelords list. I understand the Castelli Armor build list, but I like this list more. It's more play. Big love to you. Doug Janowski with an LRL Zytrek list, and Fernie Lopez with another LRL list. And then Bruce Lim with his Sons of Behemoth Breaker Tribe list, and it was 4 bigs as well. So congratulations to those guys. Now, a massive event happened this weekend, but we don't have any of the results yet. So I'm hopefully going to organise an interview with the tournament organiser, Gabe, for the Runax Team Championships was this weekend, which is a team event that's held over in, Queensland. In Australia. It's a huge event. It's before COVID, it went from strength to strength and was looking to be, and not forgetting the Aussies love Warhammer, the largest Age of Sigmar event in the world has been held in Australia twice, 2 years running before COVID. And it was looking like the Runax Team Championship might become the team event over in Oz, with I think just before COVID they were earmarked for something like 160 players. So it's going to be huge. Yeah, absolutely massive. But we don't have any results for that yet. So I will try and interview Gabe. And actually, team events are so interesting and so unique. It would be quite fun to kind of do a better breakdown, I think, of that results, especially with some team events coming up that we have in the UK and also AOS Worlds next year. It'd be quite exciting to talk about those. Then also in Australia, the Cinderfold GT, 24 players in Adelaide, Australia. Adelaide Zoo, one of my favourite zoos. Obviously, I know there's loads of issues with zoos. Don't worry about it. I get it. But they try really hard. But anyway, in the 5-0 bracket, Mark Nodge with his Sons of Behemoth list. Well done to Mark. So he went 5-0 and he had 4 bigs with the double wizard in what I'm going to call the Mark Nodge TM list, if that's what you want, Owen. He managed to do the double wizard version of this list.
Okay. That sounds like you might be being a bit. I can't think of the right word.
Facetious.
Facetious, that's the word. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Is that me? Yeah, that's the word. That is the word. Yeah. Damn you, Rob. I saw some pictures from this. Alexander Kron. I've never seen him without a sort of Caradron Overlord's hat on, and he was playing Tzeentch.
He was. It was hosts horror spam, so that went 4-1. So it's catching on, Owen. I sometimes think that doing the coverage is bad for the community, because we showcased the live stream at Bobo. We just saw
we're just enablers at this stage, aren't we?
There's just someone at home being like, what the fuck did he just do? Did he just bridge over and win on the first turn?
Sounds like my kind of game.
Let me paint up these pink horrors as fast as possible. Kron went 4-1 with his horror spam, and then Wayne Buck. This is actually huge. Shout out to Wayne Buck. There's a couple of people trying this list out actually all over. Skaven have one of the lowest win rates in Age of Sigmar at the minute. It's sat around 30%. They're doing very, very badly. But Wayne Buck with his Skaven went 4-1, which is amazing. And he did it with kind of like a triple threat list of Thanquil, 6 Storm Fiends, and 30 Storm Vermin. So he has a bunch of other stuff in there, but those are kind of the 3 major threats. And there's even a Thanquil in one of the Republic of Ireland Six Nation teams lists. Again, that's got Thanquil in. It's also got the Storm Vermin. Not Storm Vermin, it's got the 6 Storm Fiends. 6 Storm Fiends are great. Thanquil seems good, I think. But he seems to play into a meta that's got a lot of hordes, and there are no hordes. So I'm like, is it in case of the pink horror spam? Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, 100%. That's the only real sort of body spam list. And as it becomes more and more popular, I mean, 4 warp fire throwers on Thanquil is amazing. It's just like, come and charge me. But yeah, also, I think we talk about efficiency, and I think the Skaven book has maybe, it's had some issues because you can't, get a lot of efficiency, because a lot of it's like random damage and D6s and stuff. But I think in your Storm Fiends, Storm Vermin, you've got 2 real threats where you can kind of, if you set it up correctly, you can probably guarantee a kill. Like 30 Storm Vermin with a +1 attack buff will kill a Gargant, I feel.
Yeah, they will. They're very, very good. The issue is getting them off against the magical dominant lists. And that's maybe where it falls down. But then, interesting, very interesting. I personally wouldn't mind running. I think you would have a really fun time, 6 or 9 Storm Fiends at an event, and just accepting the fact that you're going to 3-2. Because sometimes more warp power is not going to go off, and then just run that kind of like hardball events like you've been, where that you like week in week out, and then just be like, do you know what? One event it went off every round, and I just deleted everything.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think Skaven is kind of like one of the connoisseurs' choices at the moment. I think not inherently, they don't have a big monster that you can just put down and it'll kill the world, and they've got a lot of fragile troops and stuff. So. I have a small Skaven army, Rob. If that's what we're saying.
Oh yes.
I think we can jump from Australia to Sweden now, perhaps.
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can
do that. So this was the Boras event. I'm not sure exactly.
Boras is the place. I don't think the event had a name. I think Boras is where it was. Yeah, in Sweden.
And we had, let's have a little look what we got. It was 5 rounds, right?
Yeah, 5 rounds. Yeah. So it was Konstantinos Kellis who actually tweeted at you, Owen, yesterday.
He did. I saw him, and I respect the win that he got. So an Ideneth Deepkin list. I think. Is it Chris Welfare down in Australia has been pushing around big blobs of Reavers like this?
Yeah, when we did the FAQ React, it was it was Chris that turned everyone into Reavers. Everyone was like, Reavers are great, by the way, everyone. And everyone in the world was like, what? Reavers aren't good, and they are. And Konstantinos has proved that. Now, we don't know the tournament website that they used. I've never seen it before in my life. But Konstantinos came first. And he had 60 Reavers in his list. He had 10 Thralls as well to clean out the battle line. He had the Storm, so the aspect of the Storm with the Arcane Tome and Flaming Weapons, which is a really popular pick at the minute, taking him up to, I think, damage 3 on his attack profile, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yep.
And then also with the +1 to wound aura that he gives out, really, really good. And also there was a Leviathan in there as well, and a Tidecaster. So... he had 2 big combat punch units from the Leviathan and the aspect of the Storm. And then those Reavers just doing a lot of shots turn 1. A lot of shots, which is quite nice. Clearing screens, especially for that very fast army. So yeah, quite like that list. But I think that requires some play.
It's very, very efficient though, because in Fuethan you get the rerolls, and the Eidolon's +1 to wound buff works in shooting. So I think that there's a lot of the time you're on 2s, you're rolling 1s and then 2s, and they're amazing for what's it called, Unleash Hell, because you get 3 shots each, and I think it's 115 points for 10 Reavers. They're really, really quite good. Run and shoot, 8-inch move. Hey Rob, I've just had a little look though. Daniel Turtle's Ogres. Have you seen that list?
I have not seen his list. I didn't get a chance.
The Iron Blaster meta continues.
Shut up! No, we don't know. We don't know if any of these lists were in the 4-1 bracket. Oh no, I've done this wrong. So if you guys want to go and check the lists out, the lists are in the chat now, and they'll be in the show notes as well for you guys. So what's in the list, Owen?
It's got a Tyrant,
right?
Who's got the massive scars, Goofy trophy rack, which I think gives +1 to hit for the Iron Blasters, which is good. So he's got a Tyrant, 2 Butchers, 2 units of 8 Iron Guts. Hello.
Oh, God. Hello.
4 Lead Belchers, and 3 Iron Blasters.
This is fantastic. What? 3 Iron Blasters, 2
Tyrant, a Tyrant, 2 Butchers, and then 2 times 8 Iron Guts and 4 Lead Belchers.
That's amazing. Do you know what? 8 Iron Guts? Because I talked about this a lot, a few years ago with, not a few years ago, a few months ago with Lee Bromley, and also, oh God, plays everywhere, and he's such a fucking cutie, one of the Dragon Slayers. Love him to pieces. Plays at every event. Oh God. Tom Waller, fantastic human. Me and Tom were talking. We were just just put 8 Iron Guts down. those guys will fucking lift some stuff up. Because he was like, oh, Kragnos isn't good enough. And I'm like, no, like 8 Iron Guts is cheaper than Kragnos, more wounds than Kragnos, and will absolutely slap different shades of colors into people. Yeah, like they will lift stuff. It's just the problem is the movement, right? I guess if you're shooting at stuff, they're gonna come towards you. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, we saw Stuart himself, Mr. Iron Gutsman, doing amazing work. So I think the Tyrant's cool. You kicks them in the balls on turn 1, and then they're battle shock immune for the rest of the game. And then it's still a lot of wounds to get through. Are they like 4 wounds apiece? So what's that? That's 60, 32 wounds, 4 up save, and they can slap really hard. They're great. I love Iron Guts. I'd love to play that army. That looks fun. But
Doesn't
still.
it?
And I think we've got Konstantinos in the chat, and he's saying it went 4-1, Rob. Fucking legend.
Why? Why do Iron Blaster lists keep going 4-1 around the world? It's breaking my brain.
We know nothing, Rob. We know absolutely nothing.
There's just a guy with a beer right now, just like giving him the middle finger to the screen. He's like, screw your stats, Rob. Screw you. Screw your stats. Amazing. So that was Sweden, right?
Yes.
With Eric.
Eric Salah. Sorry, yeah, I was going to say we should give Eric his dues. I've got his list in front of me as well. If you want to,
yeah,
quickly.
Please.
An engine. So Thunder Lizard again, another Thunder Lizard list doing well. Engine of the Gods, a Priest, a Slan, triple Stegodon, 3 Salamanders, and a Bastillodon in Battle Regiment. So a lot of ranged threat, a lot of mortals. And triple Sky Streak Bow is nice, right? And that was another 4-1. I think he lost to Konstantinos in the final round by the looks of it. Yeah, that looks like it. Actually, no, sorry, in the first round. So that was Sweden. We can go to an even colder country if you want, Rob.
I would love to. I would love to.
The tundra of Siberia.
I don't know if Russia's colder than Sweden, but it's as cold.
It's as cold, but it's called the Icehammer GT. So let's pretend. And if I remember correctly, Rob, this reminds me. That means that we've been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah, baby.
I think it was in a place called Novosibirsk. Yeah, that's right. But I don't know if it was there this year, but maybe. I just wanted to show you that I remembered the name of the word, and I've got a really good comedy Russian accent. Novosibirsk.
Novosibirsk.
Yeah. So it's been a year on, but I think that the same legend of the of Russia continues to dominate, Rob. So you won't be surprised to hear that 6-round event, 6-0, Mr. Philip Kartyev.
I don't know this to be true because we haven't got to see the Russians play much on the international stage yet. We obviously will get to see that in the AOS Worlds, but I reckon Russian Warhammer's very good. I reckon they don't mess about is my point. Yeah. And so the fact that Philip keeps dominating at events in Russia makes me very scared of him as a Warhammer player is all I'm going to say. I reckon the average is pretty high and I reckon he's way above that average and it's quite scary.
Yeah. And he travels all over, right? He went to he was at the Dutch GT when we played, only lost to Benjamin. He was at the London GT. He plays a lot of TTS. I think he's still playing a lot of TTS now. I think that whilst the game's kind of pretty mad with the output and stuff, I think player skill still has a huge bearing on who wins. And he's got a list with 50 pinks in it, Rob. He's gone not for the cookie cutter Legion of the First Prince. So that list that you've mentioned in the stats and you've shown in the stats, a small player base doing very well with it, and that bears out again. And it's Be'lakor, a Khorne Demon Prince, an Epitome, and then 50 pinks.
Very, very good. Because obviously in Legion of the First Prince they get a 6-up ward in addition, which is quite nice. Now that doesn't the pinks still have the ward. I actually don't even know if pinks still have the ward on the new War Scroll. Something I need to look at. But if they do or they don't, it doesn't matter. When they explode out into more, then it's even more wounds with a 6-up Ward, the ability to summon, and then also that Khorne Demon Prince for shutting down movement. But Be'lakor, like the anti-points generator, isn't it? Like, you can't score points. And then the epitome probably with the Fourfold Blade, just looking to carve up some names.
Yeah. That's just one sort of like damage piece. So no Kairos. I just wanted to Pete Pratt in the chat. The supervisor of my master's thesis was from Novosibirsk. He was the single hardest and most intimidating person I've ever met. That place breeds exemplary humans. So,
Peter, Peter, I think you want to do your research on the places before you make statements that broad.
I don't like the sound of hard and intimidating. I'm a soft, fluffy bunny. Do you reckon we get gobbled up out there if we go and play Warhammer?
I can't wait. Go on.
I reckon the bars closed all day in these Russian events. Like, everyone's super serious, no one drinks. But then at 6 o'clock, like, the last round finishes, and then they get wasted on the most insane vodka and spirits, like 95%.
I completely disagree with that. I think all they just start the breakfast, shot of vodka, and all they do is, if like you get too drunk to play, they consider you weak. I think they just drink the whole day. It's not like an English event where you're like, oh, you've had 3 beers, you best need a little lie down, princess. Off you go. Yeah. They're just hard lining shots of vodka on the table, and if you're too weak to make it, that's your fault. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon Lee Bromley might do all right out there. He's seasoned. I reckon he might do okay with all the alcohol around. But yeah, Cream always rises to the top. So props to Philip. Last 58 player event there. And then we've got a number of players on 5 wins and just the 1 loss, Rob.
I can't wait for you to do the names. Go for it.
I literally was just going to say, hold on, because I'm going to give it a good go.
Okay.
So we've got Ivan Serebrennikov. He's got Sons of Behemoth Taker Tribe. This is the Ivan TM, by the way, Rob, just so you know, with his Sons of Behemoth.
Right.
It's not. I'm just continuing the narrative that you've already started. So he's got 3. It's triple football, 3 Kraken Eaters and a Gatebreaker.
Oh, the Ivan TM. Nice.
Yeah. So he went 5-1, and then Ilya Kuhar, who sounds like a secret agent. He took his Iron Jaws, Iron Sons. So it's quite a mixed kind of list. Single Crusher, a Boss on Foot, Triple Boar Chanter, 12 Pigs.
Can I say I expect to see a ton of Iron Jaws lists in the 4-1 bracket over the next few months.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. They come unstuck against some of the other big bads, but consistently smash, and it's consistently strong.
Yeah.
And then we've got Yulia Firstover, another Identh Deepkin list, Rob. Fuethan, a real mix, but another brick of 30 Reavers. Leviathan, Eidolon, that's a thing, right? It's becoming a thing. And then finally, Oleg Krasulin with Alumnia, Lumineth Realm Lords Alumnia. No tech lists, but you had 1 brick of 30 Sentinels, 1 brick of 30 Wardens.
Oh, wow.
Some of the smaller characters, some Dawn Riders, some Blade Lords.
Oh, wow, that's very different. Yeah, the Lore Seeker and Blade Lords, though, right? It seems to be if you see a list without tech lists, then you'll see a Lore Seeker and 5 Blade Lords.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure why, but there you go. Like, it seems to be fairly common.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted because I'm coming up with I'm stereotyping. Damn it!
We don't mean to stereotype. We're just having some fun. Also, we're English, and so disrespecting other people's culture is our culture. So, like, we've done it for years. You're lucky we're just not nicking things off you and putting it in our museums.
They're not Elgin's marbles. They're the country where they were created.
Look at all of our sarcophaguses. Wait, did you do this?
Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here that you've stolen from other people.
You stole so much stuff. The Museum of Loot. Anyway.
All I want to do is steal your hearts, okay, people? I don't want to steal anything, and we want to talk about Warhammer. So apologies for the stereotyping, all in the name of,
Fun.
bants. No, I hate that term as well. Yes, so that was the Icehammer GT. Great lists. It's mad though, right, Rob? Just to boil it down very briefly, like we talk about all of these events. We've talked about events in the UK, in America, in Russia, in Sweden, and there's lots of different armies, but the same sorts of stuff is coming up, right? The meta is quite, whilst it's varied, it also feels quite settled. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we've talked about all over the world, and we're talking about Iron Jaws, we're talking about Suns, we're talking about Horrors, we're talking about Lumineth. There's a couple of mad lads, obviously, and ladies with Skaven and Beasts doing well. Living City with some steam tanks.
But it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing. That's why I like doing the Stats Centre, right? Like, I love the idea. At the same time that in the cold northern wastes of Russia, there was like a log cabin in Sweden. Just to throw in some more stereotypes, and then there was just some pasty English fellas eating mashed potato up in Liverpool, and then in Australia, you had a couple of lads doing barbecues and running big team events or doing singles events or whatever. Like, it's the best bit about this is it's a big international community, which is my favorite. Like, and it's so fun. There was also an event in France. The French. Did Marcus send me this today?
Oh my God! I thought you were so close to doing an accent, then, Rob, and I was like,
yeah, I was about to. And France this weekend, there was a 64-person event, and Luke Rage won the event with his Iron Jaws. He went 5-0 in the 4-1 bracket. You had Gultars with his Casual Overlords, Frosties with his fire states. They all have like names, like they do like nicknames in which is way more fun. Owen, what would your gaming nickname be? It's the Sauce, isn't it? We've already done it. It's the Sauce.
Juice.
The Juice. The Juice. That's it. The Juice. Yeah, it's okay. We've got it. The Juice. Next time, I would like to go to an event where you are only allowed to put a nickname down. So much fun. Terrible for the stats.
There's a player here as well called Aniki, and their club is called Holy Within Leon. I think it's a great club name. That's fucking 10 out of 10. I mean, he seems to be, or he or she seems to be the only. Oh no, there's more members down below. Sorry, I was going to say, maybe. Oh, that's quite a good club. Wow, Holy Within Leon seems like wow, loads of members. What a scene. Sorry, I cut in. There's a Nighthaunt player on 4-1, Rob.
Shut up.
Well. Yeah, that's Corsa.
Look, there was a Zinch list that was also 5 wins. It must have been using the differential system.
Okay.
That's nice. Yeah. So a differential system. So, because there was, in 13th, there was 5 wins, Mortout with his Zinch, but he only got 63 points. Okay, good. I like seeing that. I love seeing the differential system.
I've got the I can probably here we go. I think am I going to get it? Yes, English, yes, please. I thought I could get the lists, but it's not allowing me to get the lists. I wanted to see what's in the Nighthaunt list. I presume it's going to be Reichenor's Condemned. That seems quite popular at the moment. No, sorry, I can't get the lists. God, this is great telly.
It's okay. We've got Wisp Mitchell in the chat, who's also saying there was a 100-person event in Poland this weekend as well. So we'll try and get that information. If you can send that in to us. Listen, if you do have events around the world that we don't generally tend to hear about, then like Wisp Mitchell in the chat, I'm definitely saying that wrong, then just get in contact with us. Be like, hey, any Polish events, we're going to send them to you. Any French events, we're going to send them to you. There's going to be a Korean event soon, South Korea, surprisingly, not North. They've messaged us recently about what their event's going to be. We know we have events in Japan. It's so cool. We had our very first, Cuban event a few weeks ago. In Age of Sigmar as well. It's so fun watching the Age of Sigmar community explode around the world, right? Like, it's so fun. That's it. There we go. We've got the link in the chat. Big shout out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
another one of the Generals War events, right? They do a lot of them there, I think.
104 players.
Shut the front door.
104 players. Won by Artur Lomnicki. He's one of the 2 players. Artur Lomnicki and Rodislaw Robleski, definitely wrong, are both in the 5-0 bracket for this event. In the 4, and that was with Lumineth Realm Lords for Arthur, and then Stormcast Eternals Radistow in the 5-0 as well. In the 4-1 bracket, you had Damien Koznak with his Destruction Sons of Behemoth, Cuba Kostibrek with his Lumineth Realm Lords. You had, hey, Owen, Gregor Trzowski with his Sylvaneth in the 4-1 bracket. And then,
very nice.
Shut the front door, Matthias LSG, definitely wrong, with his hosts of Sinesh in the 4-1 bracket as well.
Wow. Yeah, I'm scrolling through the lists now. Actually, there's some sauce in there. Gnarlroot as well for the. Oh yes, it's 20 Dryads, 5. No bow hunters. Oh, nice. So he went for the like a Math Mallow Sylvaneth list with the War Song Bomb, but then he had a Durthu in there and a L'Oreal Hero Hammer. And then this 5-0. You know, we talked about the Stormcast. He's gone all in on the shooting. This is the Radislav with the 5-0. So he had 20 Judicators, 6 Vanguard Raptors with long strikes, one of the Night Judicators, and then an Arcanum on a Taurolon.
The +1 to hit.
So, yeah, guns for days.
Yeah, in Celestial Warbringers. So, yeah, so he's got Thunderbolt Volley. So he's going to be able to fire those Vanguard Raptors twice, which is pretty amazing. And those Judicators do some pretty great work now.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I'm yet to see it, but I am hearing that. I'm not sure if their scroll got a little lift or whatever.
It got models on 6s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very good. The Sinesh list that went 4-1 from Mateus, Keeper of Secrets, Sinessa, and Sigvald. 3 times 11 Blissbarb Archers, 5 Blissbarb Seekers, and 5 Slickblade Seekers as well. And then the Emerald Life Swarm. So a little bit different to the list we saw do we've seen 3 Sinesh lists do okay. That's it. Yeah, and one obviously was Bill, and then we had 2 4-1s over in the USA. And this is a bit more like Bill's, but Bill didn't have. I don't think Bill had the Keeper, and instead he had the Mega Gargant instead. But it's all about trying to achieve the battle tactics. And then just generate as many depravity points as possible. And you with 33 Blissbarb Seekers, Blissbarb Archers, and then 5 Blissbarb Seekers, you do have a lot of shots to ping off to try and grab a bunch of depravity. Yeah. To be fair, whether or not sure. And then Arta, who won the event, Teclis, Cathalar, 20 Sentinels, and another 20 Sentinels, 5 Dawn Riders, and then he also had the Cathalar in there as well. But it was in Helon, which is a nice little change. I think Helon's pretty popular at the moment.
Yeah, I have to admit, I tend to see more Zytrek for teams and then Sire for singles. But yeah, Helon's still really strong with all the extra movement and stuff. But God, look, that's 40 Sentinels in the winning list, then more guns, and then Stormcast shooting, and then Suns, and then another 40 Sentinels in the next. We haven't even really talked about Sentinels, but
don't worry, I'm on it. That's a whole thing coming from me soon.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
Don't worry. All right.
From the same team that brought you the Amulet of Destiny is busted, we now bring you the Sentinel Report. They're really bad for the game.
Live to the news desk. What's happening? Sentinels suck. Back to you.
We're coming from the chopper above the mortal realms. There's been a murder. What's the culprit? There are 30 lads in white robes looking really happy with themselves, way over on the other side of the battlefield, and then there's a load of guys who are dead in the highway. Back to you, Rob.
Back to you. More at 5. Right, let's round this off because I know you got to go. So let's do that. So we've got a one-day event we're just going to quickly touch on.
Yep. Oh, yes, that was in Finland. So this was the Wolfroad Howl. 18 players, run by Anttu and won by Anttu, I believe. So I think he ran it, but he definitely won it. Daughters of Cain, Morathi, Gotrek, and 15 Bowsnakes. So yeah, we've heard of that before, and it's really good. So well done, Anttu. And then another 3-0 was Kimmo, Kokkarinen, and that was with Soulblight, Kastelai, Nagash, Vhordrai, and Vengaboy. What we saw Leo running at the War in the Heartlands coverage. So smashy bashy, gonna kill the world with that. Yeah, nails.
Yeah.
And that was in Finland. So good on those guys. And then upcoming events, Rob.
Yes, this weekend, Age of Sigmar, Six Nations. So 6 different nations from around the world team up in a rugby-style Six Nations event, oftentimes seen as a precursor to AOS Worlds, which will be next year. But, an event in its own right, a lot of players looking to try their hands either first time in the international kind of scene, or like trying to get as much practice in as possible. Been dominated by England for the past 5 years. They've won it every single time. So hot favourites to take the event out this year. But some big shouts, especially from Northern Ireland and Wales, trying to knock them down a peg or two. So we'll see how that goes. And then Boyz this weekend, GT in Rochester, 80 plus players with arguably this man's going to be there. Some of the best call out videos that we've seen so far over on Twitter. We're starting to see call out videos. Owen, how do you feel about it?
I think it's great. I feel wonderful about it. There's even been a video. I think Budtastic guy has done a trailer video for it. I'm into it. Yeah, as long as it's friendly and done in the right spirit, and this obviously is. I think the 2 guys are real good mates. But yeah, there's some hype building. We all love a little bit of pre-tournament hype, don't we? So when somebody misdeploys and gets their army taken off turn 1, they're going to look like a right tit after all that build-up. But I'm sure that's not going to happen because they're great players. But yeah, loving the hype online. And that's this coming weekend. And then I think there's some bits in December, but we'll touch on that in the future, I am sure.
Yeah, a couple of. It's 2 weekends of back-to-back coverage from T Sports Network. So like us and the guys, we got this weekend. We got Six Nations. Weekend after we got Bobo, which is looking to be 100 players as well. So it's going to be very, very fun. Big shout out, by the way, to all the Finnish people at their event this weekend. I got a big, long-standing rivalry with Finland and their terrible national bird. But I hope they had a great time, is all I'm going to say. And looking forward to it. Owen, you're at Six Nations this weekend, so if you guys are excited, you enjoyed seeing us here, you can see us there, right? It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be some really top-quality Warhammer, I think. There's lots of good players and good teams. So.
Is it? That's the question. How many horrors do I got to watch play? That's the real question. I was actually quite surprised. I thought there were only 3 Sons of Behemoths, but then I wrote my notes down and there were 4. So I'll give you a quick headline, very, very quickly. Six Nations. There are 6 Seraphon. There are 6 teams. There's a Seraphon and a Lumineth player in each team. There are 4 Sons of Behemoth. There are 5 Daughters of Cain, sorry. So in the 5 bracket, there are 5. There's only 1 team without Daughters of Cain. There are 4 Sons of Behemoth, 4 Iron Jaws? 4 Iron Jaws? No, not 4 Iron Jaws. But anyway, those are the kind of takeaways, really.
Those are the big bads.
Yeah.
What channel can I watch? It'll be on the T Sports Network, won't it?
Will be. It'll be on the tsportsnetwork.com. But there's going to be another video out today about the meta and the other stuff. So I'll do that later today. You know, all the live coverage on T Sports Network, and here you just get to hear me and my mates sassing about the game that they love. So that's it. Owen, any shout-outs before we head out today?
Yes, very quickly. I'll start off with, I got contacted. We did the coverage of the London Open, and we didn't mention another of the 4-1 bracket players, and it stuck in my mind. So just wanted to shout out Russell Taylor with his Daughters of Cain. I believe it's Russell. It's Elven Painter online. I'm sure he's in the chat. But Russell, we didn't cover you. You went 4-1. It was a great result. You had a Gur Battle Mage doing cool little tricks and stuff with your teleports. I see you. Congratulations.
I did it on purpose.
That was at the London Open.
I did it on purpose.
Okay, fine. Just because he's a bit sassy online, isn't he? So you just wanted to do that, yeah?
No, I didn't. I didn't do it on purpose.
Of course you didn't. And Hugh ran a great event the other weekend, which we didn't have time to cover. We've missed a few events over time.
Because we've been ill.
Yeah, because of the flu. But yeah, Hugh ran a great Bad Moon event, and my brain is completely blank. I'm sure Charlie in the chat can say who won, but it was probably Matt wasn't it? It was Mac. No, Benjamin won. Shit. Sorry, mate. Benjamin won with his. He got his 5-0 with his Nurgle, and was really happy. He had a big table 1 clash with Obeid. Obeid finally lost with his Sentinels list after an insane run. So yeah, but that was a big clash. And I got 3 draws, Rob. I went to an event. I got 1 win, 3 draws, and a loss with Sylvaneth. I was like, bring in the differential, because I'd have been in the top 10 with differential, but I was
3 draws. Amazing.
I know. What in the world?
What in the world? What do you even run as your primary? Prize Sorcery? I mean, your grand strategy?
Yes. Yeah, because I had Durthu with an arcane tome. And Gotrek. It was a thing. I did draw against 9 Salamanders. Ray, Ray Standage, great player. I drew against 30 Sentinels and Techless. I drew against Stormcast. Anyway, I'm talking about myself. No, so that was good. And then, yeah, just shout out to my opponents at the weekend. Raja, Michael, Mike, Simon, and Piotr. I think that's all and of course, Dan Arnold, Matt Mallow, and Simon, who I spent the weekend with, and are lovely people. And I can't wait to spend this weekend with them at Six Nations. Whew, I'm done.
Yeah, my shout outs to Twitch chat. Love you a long time. Never going to give you up. Also, podcast homies, Hydro homies, love you loads. Hope you're well. Stay hydrated. And of course, thank you to everyone who's watching on YouTube. If you haven't liked and subscribed at this point, obviously you're a monster and you should be fed to the dogs. So thanks. I'm back again later. If you guys enjoy me, 7 p.m, twitch.tv/Wargamer. Me and the crew are back talking about Age of Sigmar tonight. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Owen, as always. Round of applause for Owen, please. You guys are great. Thanks to Zio in the chat for subscribing. Thanks, everyone, for subscribing today and hanging out. Loads more Age of Sigmar to come. You guys are great. See you soon.